you.
Even though his scientists are telling him not to do that because it's not like something you should put a lot of effort. Instead of like figuring how to get to Mars, you should try to figure out how to make this planet last longer. I think that would be a better start. Instead of looking for a way out, make things better here now.
Some field.
Yeah.
Elon Musk or Malcolm Gladwell. What do you think about this shit? Elon's some field.
Yeah.
Elon Musk or Malcolm some field.
Yeah.
Elon Musk or Malcolm Gladwell. What do you think about this shit Elon's going through with Saturday Night Live?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's puzzling.
No one is woke enough. They can't appreciate the fact that you're dealing with literally one of the most brilliant men that's ever lived, who's going to come do your show. You're talking about a guy who's
Well, Elon Musk isn't one of the most brilliant mans who ever lived. Elon Musk just had a lot of money. There's actually a great documentary about it that Elon Musk has never invented anything himself. He has only bought things that other people have invented. That's actually kind of true.
Simultaneously runs multiple world-changing businesses, whether it's Tesla, whether...
It's kind of ironic that Joe Rogan is jerking Elon Musk this much because Joe Rogan hates Teslas. Joe Rogan hates the concept of owning an electric car and that gas cars needs to like die down. Just today when I was at the gym, there was actually a funny female comedian as a guest. She actually challenged Joe Rogan in a lot of Joe Rogan's views. One of them was electric cars, but Joe Rogan was so hyper-focused that, yeah, they are actually destroying the environment more. And California, when they said that you need to change all gasoline-based cars to electric cars, the next week they said that you can't charge your cars at home because they were running out of electric. So Joe Rogan is a huge electric car hater, and he just loves old cars, which is understandable. But at the same time, you need to like face the facts that they are destroying the environment.
whether it's space...
But now he's saying it like Tesla's a good thing because somebody's saying bad things about his boy Muskie. This is the same thing as Tucker Carlson. Muskie is like the hero of these guys.
SpaceX, whether it's the boring companies making tunnels underneath the fucking earth, he's putting satellites...
boring company making tunnels under the earth that really doesn't serve any purpose. Also made flamethrowers, which really doesn't serve any purpose.
Lights into space to put
SpaceX, which, yeah, you could argue that SpaceX is actually a really good company, but that wasn't, again, Elon Musk's idea. Even though Elon Musk is a huge fan of going to Mars, but even his own scientists are saying that that's not like plausible. That's not going to be plausible for 1,000 years. And now we can see what SpaceX really does, like basically deciding wars even. So who's ever like in control of SpaceX can decide the fate of war. That's why Elon Musk is such a divisive person.
high-speed internet around the world. He's doing all these things simultaneously.
Well, he isn't. Like, the point is, Elon Musk isn't doing all these things all the time simultaneously. He isn't doing them. He has people who are working around the clock for those companies. Elon Musk isn't one of them. I bet your fucking ass Elon Musk isn't even present like in board meetings. He doesn't need to be. And he isn't.
And he write a monologue is what we're going to find out.
He's not funny. he's a brilliant guy. He could probably do anything if he set his mind to it, but...
Well, he can't. Like, Elon Musk isn't a brilliant guy. The Ukraine situation proved that pretty well, that he doesn't actually understand geopolitical views outside of the North America. And he doesn't also understand that he should shut the fuck up if he doesn't know something about it. But I have to say, Elon Musk has Asperger's. I think it's now, you're supposed to call it just autism. Like, autism is now considered to be like ADHD, Asperger's, and other. It's just like one disability. And Elon Musk has that. And people who actually like defend him always go behind the disability. But people with that disability will say, no, don't use that as a shield to be a bad person.
The fact that they've decided somehow that he's problematic,
Well,
like it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, yeah,
makes
but no one's
no
really
sense.
saying what. Is it just because he's rich?
Who knows? It doesn't matter anymore. They just decide, like, what the fuck is this? And everybody's like, what the fuck is this? This is bullshit.
So there was
Why him?
There was no
No,
obvious
there's no thing.
catalyst for this,
No,
or
no.
okay, I was
Is this how current? No, this has to be like an older one. In this video, Joe Rogan, but this video was out on 21st of October. But when was this episode out? When he did that SNL thing. So basically, anything I criticize Elon, what he's doing at the moment, isn't viable in this context. But now we know why Elon is actually problematic, and it is because he's favoring. So in May, yeah. But he's now in full support mode of Russia, so that's kind of problematic. And considering he's willing to bend moral judgment based on his own interests, I don't think it's a good thing that Elon Musk is going to own Twitter soon.
just curious.
There was some people that felt like he dismissed COVID's danger at one point in time. They didn't like him because
Well, he did. He actually... he got... I don't remember, was it hundreds of thousands of his Tesla employees infected with COVID? Because he didn't believe the mandates or rules or anything, and he kept the fucking factories open. And it was either hundreds or thousands. Tesla workers fired after staying home during COVID. Hundreds. So it was hundreds of COVID positives. Because Musk decided to know more about medicine and science than the experts of that field.
of that.
Because he's such a fucking brilliant guy, and he can do anything he puts his mind to it.
He did it just because he's intelligent. Because his perspective was, he's a reductionist, or I should say, like his perspective on it was like looking at the numbers and looking at what it is as a thing, instead of looking at the emotional impact of people losing loved ones. And
because of that, like calculative numbers guy, he may have infected a virus that's going to be a long time disease to those hundreds of people. Purposely. Knowingly, willingly. Why? Because he wanted to make money, because he wanted the factory to run.
Right.
So sometimes someone who's like a genius might say something that appears to be insensitive. I don't think he's insensitive. I think he was just looking at it in terms of like what is the odds that you're going to die, and he's saying that children are essentially immune, and he was saying things that a lot of people felt were insensitive. But that was first of all, A, it was a long time ago, and B, he was just explaining his perspective on the disease.
What's the perspective if you threat your employees? Come to work or you will get fired because of COVID. And when they come to work during the pandemic, they get the fucking virus. Like, there's no defense on that. Like, you can't defend that. Even if you're a hardcore capitalist, that's like bad. That's a fucking L.
Right.
And he wasn't as fearful as they thought he should be. And then, he came to our shows, and there's pictures of all of us hanging out maskless, and then people got COVID afterwards, so a lot of people thought that it was his girlfriend that gave us COVID.
By the way, he and she were very incredibly kind.
Super nice.
Unaffected. I teased him about being the richest man in the world. He took it with good humor. And what's funny is I had hung out with him years ago, after I quit Chappelle's show. When I was on that tour that I was telling you about, that was a tough one. We hung out on a tour bus, and he says to me that night when we was all together here in Austin, he goes, I met you before. I'm like, I have no recollection. And he looked kind of hurt. It was a long time ago.
Well, he's an egoistic billionaire, so he wants everybody to remember if you have met him. That's why he got hurt.
There was like 2-3 companies ago. I just thought it was funny.
I don't know if he does that
he's the
anymore,
richest
but
man in the
before
world.
COVID,
I think these,
quite often.
whether the people that are complaining that he's going to be on Saturday Night Live, I think what's going on now is like they want someone to be 100% compliant to whatever ideology they're a part of. And any deviation of that is problematic. Whether it's because they think, like I saw an article that said Elon Musk donated $150 million to some charity and they called him a cheapskate.
It's hilarious.
How hilarious is that?
Well, wait till they see when I'm a billionaire. Talk about get ready for this cheapskate. No, my brother.
But it was such a shitty article. It's just a poorly written knucklehead article.
It's again like you say, no one can be woke enough. You know, I'm torn because I like a warrior for a good cause, but I'm really into tactics. You're not going to nag people into behaving
Right.
in a way that's, you know, in fact, if you continue with this tone, even if you're right, you'll be very hard to hear.
Yeah, I think so.
And
It's just I don't mean maybe it was the COVID thing, like I'm saying. But again, if I think back on his statements, I don't think they were particularly insensitive. I think they were just, you know, it was more of like a factual bluntness to the way he discusses things, because he's a numbers guy. He looks at things in terms of equations. He's trying to put people on Mars. You know what I mean?
I remember seeing him on your.
Even though his scientists are telling him not to do that because it's not like something you should put a lot of effort. There's instead of like figuring how to get to Mars, you should try to figure out how to make this planet last longer. I think that would be a better start. Instead of looking for a way out, make things better here now. If I was Elon Musk, I would do that instead of like figuring, well, I want to go to the rings of Saturn and live there. Yeah, fuck that.
Your show once, just like on one of these YouTube clips. But I dug the clip because it was just one soundbite. He said, "I have so much in my mind."
Yeah.
You remember this?
Yeah. Because I asked him, I'm like, "What's it like to be you? Like, what's it like? Just think." He goes, "You wouldn't want to be me."
I remember. Yeah. Yes, it's the one.
It wasn't bragging. It was just like he's being honest. Like, you wouldn't want this. His brain is like a hurricane. Like, there's just ideas like whoosh, like you could see it while he's sitting there. He's trying to sit here and just have a conversation with you, and he's probably going over fucking equations and thinking about concepts and new ideas and plotting things. And
I remember talking to somebody once. I'm not gonna say who, but they go, more than half the people on Earth live on $1 a day, and at least half of them are happy. He says, I know 20 billionaires, and all of them are miserable.
it took me a long time.
What do you mean?
I mean that
Literally one.
Joe Rogan's fanboyism towards Musk is kind of fucking ironic. Like, he's supposed to be this unbiased, liberal thinking, and then he doesn't see when Musk does wrong. And it was way back then because Joe Rogan was really heavy into COVID in the beginning, but then some of his friends called him a piece of shit. So then he went full 80 and started denying everything. Everything sourceable scientists and like science outlets, news outlets came out. They weren't like credible because, well, they were big pharma. And then he started that fucking a strange period where I didn't even watch Joe Rogan's podcast because he was just like anti-mask, anti-vax, anti-mandate, anti-everything, just open up everything. And I was like, okay, this is too much. Like, fuck this shit. I stopped watching, even though he doesn't care if I watch or not because I'm just one person, one consumer. But it was just probably for me the right thing to do because, well, I understood the risks COVID actually had, and Joe Rogan for some reason just forget that he had actually one of those lead scientists who was battling against mad cow disease, SARS, the original SARS-CoV, MERS, swine flu. He had Michael Osterman, which actually stated how the disease works, and Joe Rogan agreed. Then Joe Rogan had it again the second time, and Michael Osterman told that it's not going away, it's actually rising. And Joe Rogan was like, yeah, I understand, but in the very next episode, he was like basically saying completely different things. So yeah, that's just a fanboy Joe Rogan of Elon Musk. I don't know, Dave Chappelle was actually kind of laid back and didn't give any hot takes on Elon Musk, in my opinion. He was more reserved.